He was only 22, a young king standing at the edge of the known world. Before him lay the vast Persian Empire, a realm of gold, kings, and armies that had ruled for centuries. They said he was too young, too reckless, too ambitious. But Alexander didn't see danger. He saw destiny, believing the gods themselves had chosen him to conquer the impossible. For centuries, Persia had been the beating heart of civilization, from Egypt to India, from Babylon to the Aegean. Its kings called themselves lords of the four corners of the earth. But power fades, and when empires grow comfortable, cracks begin to show. In those cracks, a flame waited, a flame named Alexander. Born to King Philip of Macedon and tutored by Aristotle, Alexander grew up believing greatness was his inheritance. When his father was assassinated, chaos erupted. Rivals rose, kingdoms trembled. Yet within months, the young prince crushed rebellion, united Greece, and turned his eyes eastward, not just for revenge, but to build a new world under his command. In the spring of 334 BC, his army crossed the Hellespont, the thin line separating Greece from Asia, legend from reality. At Troy, he laid a wreath at Achilles' tomb and whispered, "I will surpass you." To his men, this wasn't just war, it was destiny unfolding before their eyes. At the river Granicus, Persian armies waited, proud and certain of victory. His generals warned him to wait for dawn. He didn't. Spurring his horse, Alexander charged through the torrent, arrows hissing, spears shattering, blood and river water mixing beneath the hooves. A blow split his helmet, but he rose again, striking down his attacker. By sunset, Persia was broken. City after city fell. Some surrendered in fear, others in hope. Alexander restored temples, honored gods, and called himself a liberator of Greeks. But to Persians, he was something else, a storm that smiled before it destroyed. Every victory made him both savior and shadow. News of defeat reached the great king, Darius III. Furious, he raised the largest army Persia had ever seen. They met at Issus, a narrow plain between mountain and sea. Alexander's forces were trapped, yet he didn't retreat. He smiled and whispered, "Now they can't escape." At dawn, Alexander formed a wedge and charged straight for Darius. Shields cracked, horses screamed, chaos roared. Through dust and fury, he cut through the center like lightning through storm clouds. Darius turned and fled. When the dust cleared, Persia was broken again, and Alexander's legend was sealed. Among the prisoners were Darius's wife and mother. Alexander bowed before them, promising safety and dignity. It wasn't mercy, it was mastery. Because with that single act, Persia began to doubt its own king and believe in a new one. He marched onward, through deserts, over mountains, into legend. Tyre resisted and burned. Egypt opened its arms. At the Nile, he founded Alexandria, a promise carved into eternity. Then he turned east again, toward Babylon, Persepolis, and the heart of empire itself. At Gaugamela, the earth trembled beneath hundreds of thousands of soldiers. Alexander studied the field, saw every weakness, and struck like a god of war. By dusk, Persia was finished. Babylon surrendered. Persepolis opened its gates. That night, the city that once ruled the world burned. The crown of Persia was his. He had done what no one before him could, yet victory felt hollow. He began to wear Persian robes, demanded worship, and called himself the son of Zeus. The conqueror of the world was now trying to conquer his own soul. Among his men, whispers grew. The king they had followed into glory was changing. He had faced armies and gods, but not even Alexander could defeat the loneliness of power. Because the greatest battle any conqueror fights is the one within. Was he truly the greatest general in history? He never lost a battle, built an empire from Greece to India, and believed one man's will could reshape the world. His greatness was not only in conquest, but in belief itself, and sometimes it worked. Centuries passed, Empires rose and fell, but the shadow of Alexander never faded. From Rome to Napoleon, his name echoed through time, not as a god, but as proof that destiny favors the bold. But this was only the beginning. After Persia came mystery, madness, and immortality. So, if his story moved you, subscribe now.